Hello everybody, Jared Volle here for CreativeStandUp.com. This video we're talking about venues that are either too PC or too blue. So it's basically the three little pigs of performing in different venues. So this question is coming from Darren. He's saying that he was performing in, I believe it was New York, Staten Island, and somewhere else. Anyway, so the question is about what do you do when you have three or I guess two or more venues that require very different types of humor, which is very common because you have all of these like open mics and these dive bars where it tends to be people go blue pretty quick and the show tends to be pretty dirty. And then you have the higher class venues where you don't go as dirty usually, and then you have other venues where you cannot go dirty at all. So it is a common issue. And also, he did open it up to everybody. He wants to know other people's opinions too. So if you're watching this on YouTube, then check out the comments below and let us know if this is something that you struggle with or you found a solution for and where that might be. So you can chime in and join the conversation. So my advice, first off, I'll start with the conventional advice. And that is that you should write clean and perform dirty. That in general, it's a good rule of thumb just to say that you can write clean so that you're able to perform in these different venues, but also that you can, once you're done writing clean, that doesn't mean you have to stay that way. You can do whatever kind of material you want to do. For me, I don't really have this issue. I tend to be kind of PC myself as an audience member and as a comedian. I tend to just not go. I mean, there's so many interesting comedic conflicts that you can create that I've never felt like I had to do some blue humor. I do have blue humor, or I would term it blue humor, but my idea of blue humor is just talking about talking about sex and topics like that. But for other people, that's not even going close to being blue. Anyway, so it's not something that I struggle with, but at the same time I can identify because there's always, when you get to a new venue and you're like, okay, this is a very different demographic than that I'm used to. So what kind of changes should you make or can you make? So conventional wisdom, write clean, perform dirty, and that gives you some flexibility. I will add on to that and I'll say that think of it from like a long-term perspective. Instead of saying that you're kind of looking at this one show saying like, should I perform three different sets or one set and try to do all three people or all three venues? And my answer to all of that is just yes, right? Should you have three different sets for three different venues? Well, you're probably talking about 5 minutes, a 5-minute set. So why not, right? That's if you don't have 5 minutes of clean and 5 minutes of, well, I mean, I guess you're not going typically dirty, but anyway, why not create something new that is pushing you out of your boundary, right? So it sounded like from the email that you are kind of in the middle where you don't want to go too PC or too blue. So I would suggest that you have these two different challenges, right? So why not have three different sets for three different venues? But then once you prove that you are able to do that, why not keep expanding and then change the goal from, instead of can I make three performances that will succeed in all three of these venues or in each venue, start asking yourself, now that that's done, can I make one performance that can draw in the PC people but also draw in the people that really like the blue humor? Right? That is a worthy goal to have. And it's a way better goal than just saying, I need to write 5 more minutes of material this month. Right? That's a really boring goal if you're trying to strive for just having 5 more minutes, right? But if you're having something that actually inspires you, right? Like I'm curious of what that would be. What can you create that would draw in both groups and have it be interesting to them, right? Because you're saying like that one venue is too PC or the other one's too blue, right? Like I've gone into some seriously blue shows and I've talked about like semicolons and spelling errors, right? Like that cleanliness. Like going in there, I'm saying like they are too, I'm not going to do well because I'm different, right? Change that into I'm going to be worth looking at because I'm different, right? You can draw them in. You can draw the blue audience in using PC material if you structure it really well. But that is not going to be nearly as obvious as saying like I just need to write 5 more minutes. right? If you write 5 more minutes this month, all you're doing is just doing straight. You're just going more of the same, right? Writing more of the same is I mean, I guess it's better than nothing, but it's not expansion as a comedian, right? But if you turn that goal into, can I write something super PC that these people over here that like the blue humor are gonna love, then there is no way that you don't end up next month as a much better comedian, right? Regardless of what happens, your material will get tighter because of having a unique goal, right? Unique goals create unique actions, and those unique actions actually expand you as a comedian. So I would highly encourage you to instead of just saying, should I do this or that, just say yes, right? So write your super PC material just because you know you can, right? You don't have to be like it doesn't have to be your all-time favorite material, but just push yourself in that direction as a way of growing as an artist. And then turn around and say, okay, it's blue humor. I don't want to do the blue humor myself, so I'm going to change it and say, how can I draw these people closer to where I am instead of me going to them, right? So both of those are excellent goals to have. And the last thing I will say is for your goals, and I kind of implied this already, but there's 2 different types of goals. Think about having 2 different kinds of goals. So you have like an ambitious person's goal is like what they will do is they'll say there's a goal far away. And what I want to do is I need to do this, this, and that. And there's kind of the sequence of actions that you will take. And you say, if I do these things, these sub goals, I will eventually get to my outcome. That is a great way of having a normal career, but in a creative field, it's hit or miss. Right? For me, what I think is, I think it's better to have a mixture of the two. Instead of saying, I'm going to do anything I can to reach this ideal end, you're saying, here's where I'm shooting for now, but you are allowing your actions and your experiences now to influence where you want to end up later. Right? So your goal is not going to be like some fixed point in the future. You can allow your goal to kind of emerge based on the experiences that you're having now. And I find that to be a much better creative strategy because that allows you to go into unknown areas. Whereas saying, I have this, crystal clear picture of what I want to be as a comedian, 10 years into the future. Well, that's in some ways, that's excellent. But in other ways, what you're saying is I will not do any of this material or any of this style or anything. You're kind of limiting yourself very early on. Instead, what I think is just say, I want to go this way, but you're going to allow yourself to experience and try all these different other ideas, and you're going to allow that experience to influence where what you see your eventual goal as being. Anyway, so if you're on YouTube, leave a comment below. Let me know, is this a factor in your area, and what do you do to compensate for it? So thanks a lot. I'm Jared Volle for CreativeStandup.com.